Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to our ESPN NCAA basketball studios. I'm John Saunders. Tonight, a triple header for you in the Big 8, the ACC, and the Pac-10. And we'll start things off with the #1 team in the nation, the Missouri Tigers, in the Big 8, taking their show on the road, where Anthony Peeler is sky high for the Tigers' next obstacle. But the Wildcats plan to have everyone involved to pull off the upset. In game #2, we move east, where Christian Laettner tries to keep the Blue Devils atop the ACC. They are in first place. Laettner's been a terrific sophomore, as Virginia hopes to get on track before their hometown faithful. Following SportsCenter, Lynn Nance leads a hungry pack of Huskies with sharpshooter Eldridge Rakasner, ready to keep the scorekeeper busy as he usually does. But at home, the Bears have been golden. 10-2 at home this year, so that's when we'll have a triple header. Starting with Missouri and Kansas State, the Tigers have won 12 straight games. They have won 9 of the last 11 meetings. They'll face #2 Kansas next week here on ESPN, but they have to get past Kansas State. Another big game we'll be watching in the Big 10, Indiana and Michigan. Recall the last time they met, Indiana came back from 20 points down to win the game. At halftime, we'll have the Cal Bears family affair. You won't want to miss that, so stay with us. Right now, let's get to Bob Carpenter and Larry Conley standing by with the #1 Missouri Tigers.
All right, John, thank you very much, and welcome to Manhattan, where the Cats have been very tough to beat at home this year. They've knocked off Oklahoma, but for the Tigers, #1, nothing new to Missouri. In January of '82, the Tigers celebrated their position as #1, with then juniors Steve Stepanovich and John Sunbold leading the way. Sunbold, #3 in scoring, #2 in assists all-time at Mizzou. Stepanovich, #2 in scoring, and the #1 rebounder ever. Now a new era of Tiger basketball with Anthony Peeler joining Norm Stewart. The sophomore Peeler, one of the most exciting players in the game, teaming with junior Doug Smith, and they make the Tigers go in the 90s. Ask anyone who's #1, they all agree it's Missouri. It is unanimous with all the polls around the country, as it is with Larry Conley and myself, Bob Carpenter. And Larry, over the years, though, Missouri has struggled in Manhattan.
Indeed they have, and this Kansas State team is very capable of knocking someone off, as Oklahoma well knows. Missouri comes in here tonight, one of the best teams in the country. But you've got to remember, this is Norm Stewart's first trip in here. He was ill last year. He's facing an old foe in a new building.
And he has a superstar in his lineup by the name of Anthony Peeler. Is anybody playing better than he is right now?
There aren't many players around playing much better. A combination of finesse and ferocity. He's got a great scoring touch, but he can be mean and very, very tough. Look at his average in Big 8 conference play, and I'll give you some idea of how well he's been playing.
And maybe the best inside-outside combo of the nation, because the Tigers are awesome up front.
Well, they talk a lot about Peeler, but I really think it's that front court scoring. The inside play of Missouri may be the best in the country. Strong, physical, very quick. You can see the difference right there between Kansas State's inside game and Missouri's.
With those statistics and the personnel in mind, Larry, can K-State match up?
Well, they're going to have difficulty, and what they're going to have to do is try to get inside with their defense and pack it in to keep the ball away from a very physical team inside, and that's Missouri.
And meanwhile, in the backcourt, Steve Henson has to take care of the basketball. You might remember from the Oklahoma game, 1 turnover in the first half, one of the reasons they beat the Sooners.
Bob, he's really pressing right now. It's his senior year. He wants to go out as a winner, be remembered as a winner here at Kansas State. He's had a difficult year. He was voted preseason Big 8 Player of the Year. He's had a tough year, but tonight he could redeem it all.
A long, storied series in the Big 8, and since Lon Kruger took over at K-State, 7 of his 8 games have been decided by 5 points or less.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, Missouri versus Kansas State, is brought to you by your Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. By Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. And by Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there.
The relatively new home of the Cats, Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan, rocking tonight. And let's meet the Tigers and the Wildcats. And for that, down to the public address announcer for tonight's lineups, Brad Stauffer.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Kansas State University welcomes you to Fred Bramlage Coliseum. for tonight's Big 8 Conference basketball game between the #1 ranked Tigers from the University of Missouri and your Kansas State Wildcats. Now let's meet tonight's starting lineups. First for our guest from Columbia. At forward, a 6'5" senior from Detroit, Michigan, number 23, John McIntyre. At forward, a 6'10" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 34, Doug Smith. At center, a 6'9" senior from Detroit, Michigan, number 22, Nathan Bunton. At guard, a 6'1" senior from Detroit, Michigan, number 4, Lee Coward. And at the other guard, a 6'4" sophomore from Kansas City, Missouri, number 44, Anthony Peeler. And now, the starting lineup for Kansas State. At forward, a 6'5" freshman from San Antonio, Texas, number 24, Steve Jones. At forward, a 6'5" senior from Garland, Texas, number 32, Billy Trey Smith. At center, a 6'10" sophomore from Strong City, Kansas, number 55, John Rediger. At guard, a 6'5" junior from Miami, Florida, number 20, Gene Delaware. And at the other guard, a 6'1" senior from McPherson, Kansas, number 12, Steve Henson.
In his 4th year at the helm of the Wildcats, Lon Kruger, an alumnus of this school, is 2-6 against the Missouri Tigers, but a lot of those, as we said, have been very, very close. Norm Stewart, the dean of the Big 8, his 23rd year at the helm of the Tigers, 450 career wins, and he's looking pretty relaxed tonight. Tigers and Cats in a moment. Couple of teams that, for the moment, are going in different directions as Missouri visits Kansas State. The Tigers have the nation's longest win streak at a dozen, and everybody's in double figures who starts. K-State losers of 3 in a row, but the best defensive team in the league, and they have won 8 of 11 here, including an upset of Oklahoma that you saw on ESPN a couple of weeks ago. 100 wins against Missouri, what K-State is after here tonight. John Rediger in the home whites against the road blacks worn by the Tigers, and Doug Smith in the air. Rediger got the tip on it, but it belongs to the Tigers, and Peeler trying to make something happen right away. Larry, both teams primarily man-to-man defensively.
Well, that's what they've opened up in. Kansas State is man-to-man, and I've got to believe Missouri's going to go look inside. Look for Bunton, look for Smith.
Peeler, right wing, looking for a 3. Nothing but net for the man who's averaging 19.
I said look, but let Peeler shoot.
He has just been awesome since the conference season started. Larry told you, 26 points a game.
Good handling of the press by Kansas State. Now it looks like Missouri's opened up in a zone defense.
Delaware's early shooting a key for the Cats.
Been a hot player since he joined the lineup after missing the first 6 games.
Good
solid player.
0 for 10 in a game at Colorado a couple of weeks ago, and he opened up against Oklahoma here with a basket right off the bat, and that really helped the Cats go on to the upset. He loses it. Rediger had a tap on it, and Lee Coward with the loose ball for the Tigers.
Peeler with good movement outside. Kicks it to Coward. Coward with good patience. He's going to look inside for Bunton and Smith. Bobby made a good point. This is a very solid starting 5. Maybe as good a starting 5 as anybody in the country.
Nathan Bunton with the miss over the baseline, and it'll belong to the Cats. We're a minute 18 in. Nathan Bunton, one of those Detroit Tigers. Well, they've got some outstanding players from the Motor City in Columbia, and this starting 5 as good as anybody's and maybe the best. Henson for 3. His shooting has not been this year what it had been in the past.
No, and it's really been a frustration for him and also for Lon Kruger, the coach.
Off the Peeler miss. Coward has it. And over the trees puts one up. McIntyre a touch. And it's out of bounds on him.
Tough start for both clubs. Kansas State yet to scratch, and Peeler with only the 3-point field goal. Missouri trying to handle the basketball inside has had difficulty getting any kind of good shots in there.
Billy Ray Smith, and he's well strong with it. Straight ahead, Doug Smith, too powered, running the break to Peeler. Henson defending, kicks it left side, Smith, and there's a lid on the basket right now.
You know, Kansas State's played very well of late. They just haven't been able to score. And you ask Lon Kruger and the people at Kansas State why, they said it's just our scoring. We've been able to get the shots. We just can't get them to go in.
That one did from Ski Jones. Freshman out of San Antonio. What a great future he has. And it's a one-point game, 2.5 minutes in.
What a great career his dad had.
Wally with the 76ers. Rediger with a steal. They can play some D in this building.
Well, Kansas State needs to do a lot of that. They're going to have to get inside and defend against those bigger, stronger players. They can continue to keep the ball out of the middle. They got a shot to win this game.
There's Delaware, left side against Peeler.
Missouri's in a man-to-man defense. They've gone away from that opening zone. Watch Henson direct traffic. He's the captain of this club.
There's number 12 here, like his head coach Lon Kruger did in his days as a Cat player. Pretty head-up play by Billy Ray Smith to keep possession for his team. Lon Kruger, as a player, number 11 all-time in K-State scoring, Big 8 Player of the Year twice in 73 and 74.
He might be the nail-biter of the year in the Big 8 this year.
Henson 0 for 2. Rebound and a foul on Smith as Billy Ray Smith did the work offensively.
Billy Ray Smith averaging only 2 rebounds a game for the year. There's Norm Stewart looking very splendid in a great-looking sweater. Here's the shot from the outside. Now watch Smith go up, and the other Smith commit the foul. Doug Smith all over Billy Ray.
Smith, the junior, with his first personal. And at the line, Billy Ray Smith, a senior out of Garland, Texas, a Dallas suburb. He's averaging 6 points and 3 boards a game. Had a big offensive rebound a moment ago. He started at Nebraska in place of Tony Massip. This is another game when that happens. Massip has not been making a whole lot happen lately for the Cats, so Smith has been getting the starting nods. He's now made 12 straight free throws. Make it 13, and the Cats are on top for the first time.
Kansas State man-to-man. Henson's going to pick Coward up at the midcourt line and then back off. There's another slap away.
John Rediger, his second straight time defensively.
Yeah, a little coaching technique right here. When you're receiving the pass, go meet it. Don't stand and wait for it to come to you because the defender can get to it quicker than you can if you keep and stay flat-footed, even when you receive the ball in the post.
There's Peeler from McIntyre, stops, and it's short. Rebound Henson, down the court, Delaware, but he can't keep control. Here's Coward running. Tigers are 4 on 2. And Coward misses. Bunton with the follow.
That's the one thing Missouri will do to them tonight. They're big. Button, 6'9", 232. Doug Smith, 6'10", 220.
And a rare bad pass by Steve Henson cost his team 2 at the other end.
Smith outside.
Ski Jones with 4. And the Cats by 1. Better than 4 minutes in.
Jones with a good start. Kansas State is still in that man-to-man. Good help in there.
Smith over to Button, off his hands. Henson hustling. It belongs to Kansas State. A vintage Steve Henson play. The crowd in Manhattan into this one early with their team on top.
I send you for a Bud Light, and you bring back...
Well, Bud Light won't fill you up, never lets you down.
So, there are no men here, there's an unlimited supply of Bud Light, and we can never leave.
Correct.
Everything else is just a light.
We can live with that.
Yeah.
4 minutes and 19 seconds in. The Cats up by a point and working hard to stay ahead.
Well, look at the defense right here by Kansas State. Good collapse on the inside when Smith gets it. Button slaps it away from Henson, who takes a slide into the first row. I think he was safe.
Missouri thought the ball belonged to them, but Ron Zetcher, the official who's working with Ed Schumer tonight, and Paul Castor right on the spot to give it to the home team. Missouri now will defense full court.
Yeah, they're at 2-2-1. I love Henson's haircut. You know, it's 1960s, right?
He did that right before the Oklahoma game. They say a lot of kids in his hometown of McPherson, Texas, are walking around with crew cuts and flat tops. Why not? Ski Jones with a miss. We had a push on the rebound. It'll be on John Rediger of Kansas State. Rediger, the biggest cat, at 6'10", 230, just a sophomore. Not expected to score a lot, but he's got to work hard underneath against Norm Stewart's Giants.
There's a man who had some real difficulty at the end of the year last year with his physical problems. He's overcome them. He's right back in it again. He is so much more relaxed this year than I've ever seen him.
Power, and that's a three from outside for the senior. Averaging 12. He's number 16 all-time on the Missouri charts.
And it's interesting that both of these coaches are graduates from their respective schools that they're coaching. Very seldom do you see that. Nice pass.
Rediger got it. McIntyre knocked it away. Here's Henson for Ski Jones. And now after hitting two, he's missed two in a row. Missouri will have it with a 2-point lead, 5 minutes and 10 seconds in.
Have you noticed that Jones has had two unmolested shots over there? I don't know if they do respect him or not.
He might shoot better with somebody in his face. Here's Peeler, penetrating. Way short, got his own, and missed it anyway. Rediger with the board and the outlet for Henson.
Tell you one thing, they're letting these guys play tonight.
Delaware driving. Knocked away by the Tigers. John Rediger, riddled with injuries last year, told us earlier that games like Oklahoma and Missouri, these are games he dreamed about when he was laying on the training table last year.
Well, he hopes this one's not a nightmare.
A lot of teams have had nightmares against the Tigers, who are 21-1. Backing in, Billy Ray Smith. This is Gene Delaware.
Missouri's in a man-to-man defense right now. Good drive down the middle, good kick out to Henson.
But he passed on the shot. There's a bad pass. Delaware looking inside for Rediger, kind of uncertain about it. And McIntyre goes coast to coast.
You know, all of a sudden you concentrate on Button, on Cowart, on Peeler and Smith, and McIntyre will jump up and bite you. He's got great finesse. He can play. He may be one of the most improved players in the country. In fact, I think Missouri may have two of those. Button would fall into that category too.
Well, McIntyre averaged 3 points and 1 rebound a game a year ago. I would call that improvement. Underneath, too far for Ski Jones. Tigers are running with Lee Cowart. He was standing on the line, missing the two.
Missouri not shooting very well in the first half. They've had a number of open shots, just like Cowart had right then.
Steve Henson looking to Lon Kruger for the offense. This will be their blue offense, he calls, as they work Delaware off of a couple picks. And blue's a good color for the guys in white and purple.
Pretty good job getting around Peeler that time. I think Peeler gave it up a little bit at the top of the circle, thinking he was going to get some help. He didn't get it. Good shot.
Tigers on top by a couple with the ball. 10-8 early. Peeler short. McIntyre offensive rebound.
You see, just when you think you're talking about all the other guys, McIntyre comes up and does something special. He just saved it.
He misses the three. Smith, look out here. He missed on the jam. Rediger defending. Here comes Henson. Delaware. Nick Rocco for him. 4-on-2. Cowart, Peeler, and Smith. And a blocking foul on Steve Henson.
Let's take a look at Doug Smith's missed slam earlier. I think maybe they may have had their hand in the cords on this play. Watch it underneath. Look at this. He's got his hand stuck up underneath the basket. Look at Doug Smith. He's telling the official the very same thing.
Kansas State will bring in Jeff Wires, junior guard out of Peoria. There's a guy who's very quick defensively, can do some penetrating on offense. They need some quickness in there, they feel, right now. And McIntyre will throw it in for the Tigers.
You know, it's a small thing, but Steve Henson just stopped a 4-on-2 break with a block, but he took away a layup to give up a foul.
And that's a 5-second call. So his foul turns out to be real good now.
Bob, see, that's a small thing as you look at Norm Stewart, but he gave himself up for a foul on the pass-off, and now they've got the ball back, and all they lost was one foul on Steve Henson.
You talked about letting them play, Larry. Only 3 fouls in the game so far, 2 on the Cats. Tony Massa, 42 into the game, a starter all but the last 2 games, but he'll come in early off the bench and make some things happen. He's a great leaper.
Jeff Wires handling the ball out top of Peeler. There's Henson.
Wouldn't go for him. Button to rebound. Peeler had it bumped away.
Jones is open.
That was the 5th Missouri turnover already.
They will not guard Jones. They're leaving him wide open. He's missed 2 shots from over there. Refused to take that one.
Ski Jones just had his first start a couple of weeks ago against Oklahoma. They obviously feel his inexperience will not hurt the Tigers. And a backcourt violation. Having to hustle to prevent the breakaway was Ski Jones. Tigers will have it with a 2-point lead when we return. We're 8.5 minutes in. A wild one in Manhattan.
ESPN gives you a spectacular courtside view of Big Monday, slam-jammed with color and excitement. Check out the sparkling sights and sounds of electrifying shootouts all season long.
What a big basket! Oh, what a move! Welcome to college basketball, Big Monday.
Villanova pulled off the upset. Now Syracuse wants revenge. Then Iowa battles Michigan State on Big Monday, live on ESPN.
Moves left on the dribble. Over, now triggers a jumper up. No good. Hit by Massa. It's good! It's good! It's good! Massa picks it in with no time on the clock. Kansas State wins.
For the Cats, it would be their 2nd straight win at home over the Tigers. Flashback to last March. And there's an air ball from McIntyre as we come back. Henson with the rebound. So you saw by the flashback, the Cats have been tough to beat for a lot of folks here, including the Tigers, who've lost 2 consecutive. Good work underneath. Tony Massa, but he couldn't get it to drop.
Bob, so far we've calculated Missouri is 4 of 18 from the field, shooting less than 25%. Kansas State not much better. They're right at 27, 3 for 11.
Foul on Nathan Button. That'll be his first. Only the 2nd team foul on Missouri. Each team with a couple early.
You know what it is? It's all that warm weather we've been having in the Midwest. They're not used to that out here.
Weather's warm, so the shooting's cold. At the line, Massif, a 51% free throw shooter.
Kansas State not been shooting their free throws very well this year at 66%. They made them all so far.
Real good ball handler, Travis Ford in the game for Mizzou.
I knew I'd do it. I got him.
10-9. Kansas State fails to tie the game. McIntyre and Ford out on top for Missouri. Bunton with a jumper over Massa.
Hey, that's a pretty good move. If you can't get the ball inside, catch it in there, they won't get it to you. Go out top, pick it up out there and shoot your J.
David Bunton with 3. Four. Tigers lead by 3. As Steve Henson works against Travis Ford. And there's Jeff Wires. Not much of a scorer, but he cans it from outside.
Now the defense intensity picks up a little bit. Wires is going to pick it up on Peeler. Great pass. Oh, what a pass by Peeler.
To McIntyre.
Was that a bullet?
Well,
he did play baseball, didn't he?
Yes, he did. You've got a key on his dribble and his shooting so much. He'll get a few like that during the game. Peeler's averaging 6 assists per game this year.
Blocked by Smith.
McIntyre picks it up.
What's Doug Smith run? Well, does he fly down the court?
That's why the pro scouts love it. There's a steal, loose ball for Wires. 2-on-2 with Delaware. McIntyre swatted it away, and the ball is picked up by Nathan Bunton.
Tell you what, if you got the break, you got to press it. If you're not going to press it, bring it back out.
Steve Henson kicking the ball. Missouri will keep possession. course, Henson was such a versatile athlete here at K-State, the athlete and all that. He can kick too, but they are cold, Larry.
Well, both clubs are. Missouri and Kansas State really not. And I tell you, the thing about it is they've had a lot of good shots. They've had the opportunity to make the shots. Got them to go in.
Anthony Peeler gets it in from Doug Smith.
Look at Peeler's quickness.
There's Button. Too strong, and Delaware with the rebound.
And another miss by Missouri. Kansas State trying to screen for Henson. There's an illegal one by Wires. No doubt about it. Good call. Now, sometimes you work so hard to get one of your guys free to get a shot like Kansas State does with Steve Henson. Jeff Wires just got over there and almost grabbed the guy and pulled him down.
Wires with his first. Team third on Kansas State.
Checking into the Wildcat lineup.
And Ski Jones will come back in. Askia Jones is his first name.
Well, he looks like his dad, too. I mean, he is a dead ringer for his dad.
Born in Philadelphia, raised in San Antonio. Played with Shaquille O'Neal there on the San Antonio All-Star team last summer.
I think he's the best freshman in the country.
Woo. Some talent.
They've won, thing. He's the biggest.
Here's Peeler. Back from Button. Nathan turns around, and good weak side defensive help from Steve Henson with the steal. Ski Jones back to Henson. Right side Delaware.
Big one! I tied it up.
He just came off a career high of 29 at Nebraska. 5 already here. Game tied, 8:35 first half.
They're still looking to the inside. Missouri still wants to go inside. Peeler shooting from the outside.
And he shuts down the crowd with his second 3 of the night.
Every time I talk about the ball going inside, he launches one from three-point range.
He's no easier to predict as an announcer than he is as a defensive player. There's Delaware again, well short. Tried to get his own. Henson dives and keeps it for his team. But Delaware can't save it.
What a great effort by Steve Henson. He really had no chance of that basketball. Gave up his body, extended all the way. Tried to roll it to a teammate and just couldn't come up with it. Watch this effort. Jones is in the corner and he's trying to give it to him.
How does a guy start 108 consecutive games playing like that every time out?
Because he's a tough kid, that's why.
Henson leaves. Reggie Britt is into the game as Henson takes a seat with no points, 1 foul. John Rediger also back in for the Cats.
Listen, if you wear a flat top today, you got to be tough.
Here's Smith backing in. No way to stop that.
And that's the Doug Smith we are accustomed to seeing. Catch the ball in the post, wheel and deal either way, and lay it up. Good shot.
As active a big man as you'll see anywhere in college basketball.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy 6'10" could run the floor as well as he can.
Delaware, one way, then the other. Not high enough off the glass. And the tip by Britt almost fell in. Lee Coward transitions for Mizzou. Tigers by 5, 7:20 remaining first half is Button. Great job just to catch it, but he can't drop it.
Kansas State continues to look to the inside. They do a lot of cross-screening down on the lane. A lot of the horizontal screens. Instead of going up and down the floor, they're trying to find the ways to cross the lane to find somebody open. Now watch him go down inside. 1-4. Here comes a screen out top.
John Rediger with his back to the hoop. Gets it back from Wires, and the turnaround will not fall. Doug Smith outlets on the bounce pass for Peeler. And a reach-in foul on Delaware. Tigers will go to the bench when we come back with Jeff Warren coming in. Missouri by 5, 6:41 first half.
The man on the right is Jack Hartman, who used to coach here at Kansas State. He won 295 games. Norm Stewart won 450. Pretty good between two guys. Let's take a look at the Big 8 all-time standings. That might be a surprise to a lot of people who are not Big 8 fans. Kansas State has the record for the most wins and also the most season titles in the Big 8.
Only Kansas and Oklahoma lead their respective series with Kansas State. Missouri does not, having won 89 and lost 99, and Norm Stewart has been around for a lot of those. Lon Kruger for a few, but he'll be around for a lot more.
And I guess from 80 to 89, nobody dominated the league more than Missouri and Oklahoma did. They really took it over from that during that period.
But ironically, Kansas, the team with the national championship during that time. Peeler, entry pass for Warren, too strong, and he reaches for it, but Rediger gets it. So Jeff Warren, a 6'8 freshman out of Litchfield, Michigan, in for the Tigers during the timeout. And the roll will not go for Ski Jones. Reggie Britt with the foul.
That was something that Kansas State has not been doing in the early part of this game, and that's offensive rebounding. They finally got one and got a stick back. They're first. Kansas State still staying with that man-to-man. Not a lot of pressure on the ball. Henson tries to back off of Coward and help a little bit on the inside. Once the pass goes away, filter back in. Great shot by Ford.
Travis Ford might tighten up that outside defense a little. His first 3 of the night, he averages 6. A freshman out of Kentucky, and those kids can always shoot.
Some of them.
22-16 with 5.5 minutes remaining.
Kansas State looks like they're going to be a little bit more patient on this trip. Missouri continues to maintain that lead. Kansas State still looks inside. They look inside almost every trip.
Here's Rediger against Warren. Smith tipped it away. Coward pulls it down. Delaware a touch, but here comes Peeler. Look at that line drive for Doug Smith. And actually the iron jammed him on the play as Henson will get his second foul.
And again, Bob, it was the ability to get out on the break, to quickly fill the lane, fill the gap. And that's what Doug Smith did. You got to remember, he's 6'10", and he could fly down the floor. Not many people his size are able to keep up with him. One of the reasons why the pros like him so much. If he does that in the professional ranks, well, a lot of guys are going to be with it running around their tongues hanging out trying to keep up with him.
Doug Smith now with 1,233 points, number 13 on the all-time Missouri chart. Cats will counter with a couple off the bench. 42 is Tony Massif, 34 is Lance Simmons. Neither starters as John Rediger sits down with Reggie Britt.
Missouri's only committed 2 team fouls to this point.
5 on the Wildcats with 5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Down screen. Henson trying to help Delaware.
Underneath, it's in from Lance Simmons.
Doug Smith ended up on the floor with the pom-poms. I don't know why.
Lance Simmons out of St. Louis has had a good career against Missouri, ironically. There's Ford again. Another 3 drilled by him, and those are NBA threes that he's drilling.
It was just Gand and Tunning, just his coach.
Way out
showing him how to shoot the ball.
Wow. Tigers by 8, 26-18. Here's Henson. Again, missing rather badly, and a foul on Peeler.
Bob, it seems as if the last 3 to 4 minutes, Kansas State has gotten a message about going to the offensive glass. They've really begun to pound it pretty good. And I'm just wondering during those commercial timeouts if Lon Kruger hasn't said something to his club about getting up there because Missouri was dominating everything on the defensive glass.
Nathan Button back in for the Tigers. Doug Smith with 3 points and 4 rebounds takes a seat. Henson throws up what was almost an air ball. Out of bounds off Ski Jones, and the Tigers will have it. Nathan Button leads the Tigers with 6 boards as he returns to the game.
Travis Ford looks like he just got out of junior high school.
Here's Henson running after the steal. Delaware!
Nice play. Steve Henson. Always look up the floor when you've got the ball. Somebody may be open and he may be wearing the same jersey you've got on.
He's the all-time assist man at Kansas State. Here's Ford again. Finally missing. Tony Massif with the rebound. Cats are quickening the pace here a little bit because of good defense and the Missouri miss.
Jones seems reluctant to take the shot. He missed the first two, and now he just will not put it up.
Henson with an air ball. Massup with the follow.
You know, with Doug Smith out of the lineup, this club does not get on the backboard, and all of a sudden, Kansas State is getting a lot of second and third shots.
Bunton inside for Coward, and a foul on Lance Simmons.
There's those second chance points we were talking about, and most of those have come in the last 4 minutes of play. Kansas State really went in there. Doug Smith's out of that lineup. It makes a big difference because it takes a lot of size out of Missouri's lineup.
Norm Stewart really shuttling some people in here. John McIntyre's back in. There he is, number 23. And he has been joined by Jim Horton, a little-used sophomore. Lee Coward on the miss. And he's a pretty good shooter, 88% from the line. And that's not even the best on the Tigers because Travis Ford shoots 89%.
You know, a lot of great players they've had, it's amazing to understand or know that he's the number 2 all-time assist leader at Missouri.
3:01 remaining. Tigers lead by 5. Missouri won the earlier meeting in Columbia between the two teams. That will be something in Lawrence next week.
Right now, Missouri's got their hands full with another Kansas team, and that's the Wildcats. Opportunity to cut this deficit. They're down by 5.
2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining before halftime. In the paint, working hard, but unable to drop it is Lance Simmons. And it'll belong to K-State on the baseline.
Well, it's one of the rare times that Missouri, at least in the last couple of minutes, has gone up on that backboard with some authority.
They've been out-rebounded by Kansas State. 20-18 have the Tigers. Ski Jones for Henson. Here's Delaware.
McIntyre almost got the steal. Good anticipation.
Henson from Ski Jones. Massup turnaround. Strong move. He has 5. He's so physical in there and so talented leaping. You know he's going to get the shot. The question is, will he drop it? That time he got the shooter's roll. Doug Smith set to check back in for Missouri.
Interesting at the point he's coming back in. A little less than 2 minutes. He and Peter both are coming back. Kansas State's got it.
Massup with the steal, and at the other end, he's fouled by a moving Lee Coward. There was no way Coward was going to let Massup get to the iron because he would slam it and really get this crowd going.
They're the two stars right now waiting to come in.
Peeler joining Doug Smith.
So what the holdup is?
Well, the Cats are lobbying for a shooting foul here, and it looks like they might get it. Either that or they were lobbying for an intentional foul.
No, I think he's going to go. Now he's going to let him come in. That's what it was about. They're going to get shots out of this.
Steve Henson, Lon Kruger's extension on the floor, out asking for shots here.
Well, Tony Massup trying to go up right there. It's questionable. Could have gone either way.
Massup, not a very good free throw shooter, but he looks pretty sweet on that one. His 6th point of the night. He only shoots 51%.
Kansas State's had a pretty phenomenal record if they keep teams under 60 points. It looks like that game may be heading in this direction. Lon Kruger likes to keep this club playing in that mode because they seem to enjoy that type of play.
1-point game, 1:50 remaining. The Cat students are going wild. Peeler for Coward.
Good defensive work by Kansas State. Good recovery.
Ski Jones is defending against Peeler in the man-to-man. Whistle away from the ball, and it'll be on Tony Massup. His first.
Did you ever see those big rams that roam the mountains and butt heads? That's what it looked like right there. Looked like Button and Massive were just butting each other. Button got the advantage, and he's going to go to the line.
Button 6'9", 232. Massive 6'8", 230. Physically a standoff, but Button got the better of it. Nathan with his 5th point of the night.
You know, Bob, I talked earlier about McIntyre being an improved player. How about Nathan Button's numbers from last year? He is incredible at what he has been able to do from one year to the next.
5 points and 3 boards last year as a reserve. This year, 16 and 10 rebounds a game.
In fact, he leads the Big 8 in rebounds.
He's the first Tiger since Al Eberhard 16 years ago to have more than 10 boards a game for a Missouri team.
And Kansas State down by 3 now. We've got less than a minute and a half to play. Delaware, tough shot over McIntyre.
He has 9 as the Cats get it back to 1. Howard down deep for Peeler and a foul.
Oh, what a great backdoor cut. What good recognition by Coward. Peeler covered, couldn't get to the baseline, to the angle. Went straight back inside. Lee Coward with a good pass.
Ski Jones defending against Peeler.
Look at that. Jones knew he was trapped. Well, that is such a helpless feeling. I mean, you turn, you look, you see your man going to the basket, and the ball floats right by your ear.
Anthony Peeler with 9 points now. He's the Big 8 player of the week for the 2nd consecutive week as they take the floor here in K-State. 32-28, under a minute.
There's a big bucket. I thought Kansas State was getting a little bit of momentum going their way.
And off the hands of Henson. Good hustle by Coward on defense to shield the view of Steve Henson.
Now a chance for Missouri actually to get the last shot of the first half.
John Saunders anchoring our halftime. Scores from everywhere, a family affair out west. And Larry will analyze the first half of this tight ball game for you.
With your help.
I hope. It's been fun. It's not been the best played first half in terms of the early part in shooting, but it has been intense and very close. There's the differential. 2 seconds between the game and shot clocks.
Missouri definitely going to get this last shot. Kansas State with no pressure.
Peeler on the miss. McIntyre tried to follow. Smith has it out of bounds. It'll belong to Missouri. 3 seconds remaining.
Now do you go back to Peeler again, let him take that one-on-one move down the lane? That seemed to be the offense they wanted to run. Doug Smith, one of the better ball handling centers in the country. Look at this. He's in a battle underneath trying to come up with it. Now let's watch his final 3 seconds.
Left of your screen, Travis Ford, a 3-point sniper, is in for Missouri.
Button's going to screen for him. McIntyre, good kick to the corner.
Smith got it away, but couldn't get it to drop. And the smoke will clear after 20 minutes of play with Missouri on top, but Kansas State definitely in the game. 32-28, another tough test on the road for number 1, John Saunders.
Absolutely, Bob and Larry. When you're number 1, everybody guns for you, and it's always tough to play in Manhattan just the same. Missouri has lost 2 straight there. They have won 12 in a row overall, though. And a reminder, we have 3 games for you here tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time or thereabouts. We'll move it to the ACC. The 4th-ranked Duke Blue Devils down to face Virginia and the Cavaliers. And 11:30, we'll move to the Pac-10 after SportsCenter, Washington and Cal. Now, some news from off the court and involving the number 1 Tigers. 2 former Missouri recruits say they have been granted immunity to testify against the Tigers in alleged recruiting violations. P.J. Mays and Daniel Lighton told the Atlanta Constitution they have agreed to testify. Lighton says that Vic Adams, a Detroit scout, picked up his letter of intent. That is a violation. Mays alleges Missouri assistant Bob Sunvold bought him airline tickets. Missouri has declined comment. Army's leading scorer Derek Canada has been suspended from the team indefinitely, the result of a West Point honor board meeting. Canada is charged with plagiarism, which is stealing at the academy. He has not played since January 22nd and could be expelled from the academy. Let's check the scoreboard now. In the Metro Conference, Florida State and the Seminoles with a lead over Cincinnati, 24-17. Davidson is down big to Furman. It's 43-28 at halftime. And in the Southland Conference, Texas Arlington down to Stephen F. Austin at the half, 30-23. Stay with us. When we come back, we will have more, including a look at the family affair of Cal out on the coast. We'll explain when we return. Right now we're at halftime, and Kansas State is down by 4. That's next week. Number 1 meets number 2, provided number 1 is still number 1. We're referring to the Missouri Tigers against Kansas State. Let's return to Bob Carpenter and Larry Connolly.
All right, John, thank you very much. It's a 4-point game at the half as we return to Manhattan, Kansas, home of the Wildcats. And not the prettiest game we've seen in the Big 8 Conference this year, but really, Larry, kind of a ball game that Kansas State is very much a part of because they play good defense. And on a night like tonight when the shots aren't going in, second chances and rebounds and things like that make the difference.
Well, it makes a big difference. And for Kansas State, if they're able to go on the offensive glass, much like they did in the latter stages of the first half, I think they've got a chance to win this basketball game. They played what I called ugly in the first half. They played very ugly. And I think it's the type of game that when you're playing the number 1 team, if you get this kind of game, you got a shot of winning. Now, they're crashing the boards, and look how they're doing it. Tony Massip with a good follow-up right here off the glass. And that's something Kansas State needs to do in the second half. It's really a much taller and more physical basketball team inside.
And actually, guess who has the most rebounds for Kansas State? Guard Steve Henson has 5 boards at the half because of some of those missed shots bouncing all over the place. But meanwhile, for Missouri, not a huge first half by anybody, but Anthony Peeler is always dangerous whenever he is on the court.
Well, they really have got 2 key players out there that really carry the load for them in Doug Smith and Anthony Peeler. And really in the first half, when you take a look at their stats, Anthony Peeler at 9 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. That's pretty good for anybody. I mean, that's a good number. Turn around and you take a look after Peeler's numbers and watch a little bit of the action. Lee Coward with a basketball here. Gets it, looks at Peeler with his backdoor cut. Boy, that is a great pass by Coward, and Peeler gets the layup.
We talked earlier about Peeler's impact in the Big 8 Conference, 26 points and 6 assists per game in conference play, directly responsible for 38 points every night.
Well, but also the thing that I like about him, I talked about his finesse. He is a finesse player, but he can go at you so tough and so strong, and they're so good at so many different positions. Having Peeler out there, just another plus.
Well, the first half numbers will not show great shooting by the 2 ball clubs in this game this evening. Missouri is shooting 33%, 4 percentage points better for the home team. Free throws not a big factor. Rebounds are even. Turnovers just about. But K-State has done a better job on the offensive glass.
Well, as you take a look at those second chance points, and I think that was the key for the Wildcats in the first half.
Well, we mentioned earlier tonight that Lon Kruger's games against Missouri have been close affairs. 7 of the 8 5 points or less. Looks like we might be headed to another one here tonight with a 4-point spread at the half.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, Missouri versus Kansas State, is brought to you by today's Chevrolet, who invites you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. By Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. By Gillette and the revolutionary Gillette Sensor shaving system. Gillette, the best a man can get. And by UPS, fast, efficient service to 175 countries and territories worldwide.
Welcome back to the Brett Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan, Kansas. 13,000 plus on hand here tonight for the Big 8. A little later tonight, we take you to the ACC. Duke at Virginia. Devils are ranked number 4 behind freshman sensation Bobby Hurley. And later to the West Coast after Sports Center, 11:30 Eastern Time live, Eldridge Rakasner and the Huskies of Washington at Berkeley to take on the Golden Bears of Cal. So the Big 8, the ACC and the Pac-10 your way tonight.
Here's Willie the Wildcat, who's standing about 14-2 tonight.
He's on stilts, and maybe he can do some rebounding, too.
Better on stilts than on roller skates.
Nobody in double figures in scoring in the ball game this evening for either team. Steve Henson down to Billy Ray Smith. Good opening defense by Doug Smith.
Well, that's a good observation, a good key indication that maybe Missouri might be turning that defense up just a notch.
Boy, you like to see guys come out of the locker room and make some sort of impact play right away. McIntyre watching Ski Jones. Steve Henson scoreless in the first half. Delaware.
Well, Peeler recovers quickly, didn't he? Did you see him get there?
Quickness helps on D too, huh?
Henson cannot get one.
Down the floor for Coward. Left side McIntyre.
McIntyre's open. Great pass.
Underneath to Peeler, who's into double figures. Steve Henson is 0 for 7 from the field.
One of the reasons they're down by 6 right now, obviously. And when you got one of your leading scorers with no field goal.
When they beat Oklahoma here, he did not have a big night, but he would score in situations. Tonight he hasn't scored in any situation. There's a 3-player pileup. It'll be a possession and belonging to the Tigers.
Missouri seems to come out of the locker room with a little more intensity than Kansas State has.
He does have 5 rebounds and a couple of assists.
Well, he's got to get on track. He's got to score for this club. The thing about it is he cannot be reluctant about taking the shots. If he gets them, he's got to take them.
McIntyre under the iron. Nothing there as the iron stopped his shot. Rediger defending, and here comes Henson leading the Cats.
You know, the other thing is they don't give the crowd a chance to get into the game. If they get a run, like 3 or 4 baskets, they could get the crowd into this game and really help them.
There's a foul on what McIntyre felt was a clean stuff.
You know, John McIntyre has fouled out of 4 games this year. In fact, there aren't any other players around who have fouled out of more than 1 game except for him.
It was only his first foul tonight. Norm Stewart obviously feels it's a comical call. McIntyre looked back to him and said, "Coach, I got nothing but ball."
Well, that's a sweater you wear at the fireplace in Aspen, pal. That's a great looking sweater. You know what, he was really a lot of fun tonight. He came in here early and I was sitting and visiting with him. He walked over to the student body and there were a couple of hundred of them over there, and they kept calling him, Norm, come over here. And he went over, shook hands, talked to all of them. He's a great guy. Really a lot calmer this year than I've seen him in many years.
Well, when we saw him in Columbia for the Rutgers game a couple weeks ago, he showed up with a baseball cap on that had a cow on the front. He just said he liked the look of the hat and he went and bought it, and now he walks around with a cow on his hat. There's Button missing one, but it went through to McIntyre. Nathan Button got it back, and he muscles his way to a basket. 8 points for the 6'9" senior.
Pressed immediately by Missouri, 2-2-1, full court zone pressure.
Looks like they're trying to put it away early in the second half.
Yeah, they really are, and I think it's a pretty good move on the part of Norm Stewart to come out here a lot more aggressive now than they were in the first half.
Here's Ski Jones, lost control. Getting it, almost walking, failing to score was Billy Ray Smith, and McIntyre gets another quick foul.
John McIntyre has a tendency that once he starts fouling, he can roll them up pretty quick. He gets his second one here again. Watch the foul, the reach in right here. Good follow-up there on the inside by Jones.
Cats continue to work hard on the offensive boards. McIntyre with 2 quick ones here in the first 2:37 of the second half.
Yeah, I said that was Jones. It was actually Billy Ray Smith who came down. There's Jones. Oh, he missed it.
Finger roll, and he didn't get it over the iron. He'll learn how to slam that ball in his future career. On the baseline, we have a foul on the Cats. Set to check back in is Travis Ford for Missouri.
Foul on number 24, Ski Jones, his second personal foul.
Number 2 on Ski Jones. Now we got a chess match going on out here, Larry, as Lon Kruger will counter with Tony Massif, and Lance Simmons his 1-2 punch off the bench.
It's an interesting alignment. McIntyre goes out, Ford comes in, and they come with 2 taller players.
Yeah, you would think quickness for quickness.
Yeah, they went the other way.
Here's Peeler. Down deep. Nice feed to Bunton. Smith came flashing across from the other side of the paint, but couldn't get open. Peeler, with the ball on his back, manages to avoid the walk.
Well, Henson was all over those guys in the corner. He guarded two people that time, Peeler and Coward.
Double triple on Travis Ford. Official Paul Castor right on the spot to call him for that rare turnover. 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. At the half, it was 32-28. It's now 36-29 Missouri.
Well, the crowd's wanting Jones to take that shot, and he refuses to. Get a little gun shy.
There's Delaware.
He'll take it.
That freshman is not shy, or excuse me, the junior out of Miami. He has 12 points, and he looks like he will be the igniter for the Cats.
Yeah, somewhere along the line, Bob, Henson's got to score. He's got to come up with some good pass. Smith inside.
From Peeler.
Yeah. Peeler averages 5 assists a game, almost 6. He does a little bit of everything. Got a great inside, outside, 1-2 punch here. Anthony Peeler, Doug Smith. Inside, good pass. Smith will go to the line and shoot 2.
Boy, Smith really left Lance Simmons sliding all over the place, didn't he? He did a 180 and left him nowhere. Doug only his 4th point of the night. Lately, he's been sizzling from the field.
He was the MVP in the Maui Classic when they went over to Florida and picked up 3 wins.
Yeah, but he hasn't scored a whole lot lately with Peeler coming on strong. Doug's only been averaging a dozen a game over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but when they need him, he'll be there.
He's a go-to guy. At the other end, a foul.
You know, sometimes, Bob, and a philosophy of a lot of coaches is when you play against a big, strong, physical type player, a lot of guys like to take it right to him. I mean, don't back off and don't allow him to block the shots. Take it straight at him. That's what Kansas State seems to be attempting to do here in the second half.
Gene Delaware, who was playing JUCO ball in Florida a year ago. He has 13. He was a second-team All-American at Dade County.
We got 3 junior colleges in Florida down there. An enrollment larger than the 2 cities you and I live in.
And some players to boot. Delaware with 14. 4 minutes into the second half. It's a 5-point Missouri lead. Well, it looks like if we talk about which one of these numbers will break tonight, it'll be the top one.
Well, Missouri averaging 89, and you saw Kansas State at 67. Look at the lob pass to the inside. Bunton with a real good catch. Turns and lays it up from the baseline and hits the bottom of the court. You know, the one thing you got to look at is you look at these field goal percentages. Is if these 2 clubs continue to shoot this way, then probably Kansas State's going to win that number. Which way will it break? It'll go Kansas State's way.
And you know, that 67 points a game K-State is allowing is even lower here at home. They have really been tough at home. Here's Bunton down deep. Howard!
Great block from the backside. Lance Simmons got a piece of it.
Here's Henson transitioning. Ski Jones well short, and now he's having a shooting nightmare after hitting his first 2.
Well, he and Henson are the 2 guys really that are struggling from the field right now. And what that does is put a lot of pressure on the other players. It makes Delaware realize, hey, these 2 guys I'm playing with aren't shooting very well. I'm going to have to really get it going.
Ski Jones unofficially 2 out of 8 after hitting his first 2.
So that means between the 2 guards, they've got 2 field goals.
Out of 15 attempts.
Ooh, Peeler in and out.
Cats got a break. We'll see if they can capitalize. Down by 5. 15-10 to go. Delaware. And the rebound. Lee Coward. Peeler. Hard to the hoop.
Oh! I think he got a good block. Oh, charge.
Offensive foul on Peeler.
Well, for a minute there, I thought maybe he was going to call Massive with a foul, and he was all over that ball. Norm Stewart can't believe it. Lon Kruger's applauding. There are about 13,000 Kansas State fans. Coward to Peeler. Peeler right down the middle. Look at that block by Massive, and he ran right over Steve Henson.
Now some emotion for the Cats and their crowd. I did it, he says, and he did it against one of the best. When Peeler accelerates to the iron, it can get scary for the other team.
You know, Bob, really, when you get in that position, you ought to dunk. You get up that high, go ahead and just jam it through there. Don't even give the guy a chance to block it.
Delaware for Jeff Wires, who's back in for K-State. Teaming with Henson out top.
There's a little more quickness out top.
He also hit a shot early, too, which nobody else did from that position. A little strong on that one, and here comes Peeler. Look at him blow by Delaware. Into Henson he goes, who was moving, and that will be number 3 on Steve Henson.
Watch Anthony Peeler, one of the best open court ball handlers you're going to find in the country. Look at Henson trying to keep up with him. Yeah, Steve, that one's on you, pal.
Boy, did he say adios to Delaware or what?
Great hands.
Took it right away from him. And goaltending maybe, yes. It'll be 2 for Henson on a shot that would not have gone in.
And you know what? His first one. What a way to get your first field goal.
Norm Stewart settles back with his team up by 3, but now the home crowd into this one big time. There's Power.
Oh, big 3. Big 3.
That's a huge 3 because they were really collapsing down on the big guys that time.
Remember the old saying, when the going gets tough get going? Lee Cowart, Doug Smith, Anthony Peeler. They're the 3 guys that get tough.
That was Coward's second 3 of the night. Both coming at great times for the visiting team.
K-State still looking to the inside.
Delaware got it back. 4-3, just won't go. McIntyre and Wires, and it'll belong to the Tigers as the official Paul Castor ruled that Wires knocked it out of McIntyre's possession.
Button that top. Good move down the lane. Good kick out.
McIntyre way long. Peeler! But he can't get it to fall. And if they're looking at Henson, that'll be his 4th. No, it'll be on Jeff Wires, his 2nd.
His 4th personal.
No, I think the PA announcer announced the wrong guy.
Foul on number 11, Jeff Wires. 2nd personal foul.
Well, Steve Henson immediately went to the official and says, you got the wrong guy. He says, it's my teammate over here.
So did the K-State bench. Lon Kruger and 2 of his assistants were up heading for the table. At the line, Anthony Peeler.
The free throw line for Missouri.
What a game he had recently at Iowa State. 20 out of 20 from the line, 42 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, and he probably helped to fly the plane back to Columbia.
You know what's interesting about that? That was the most points scored by a Missouri player on an opposing floor in the history of the school.
And the 4th highest total ever by a Tiger. Steve Jones back in. Gene Delaware is out. And Peeler has 13 tonight. Tigers by 8, 13-20 to go.
A little different pressure that time by Missouri. They actually denied the inbound pass, and now they drop back into that 2-2-1 zone. Trap it midcourt. Good job at K-State to handle it. Kansas State likes this half-court offense if they can get the ball to the inside. There it is. Kick back out, foul.
Lee Coward, his 2nd. First of a triple header on ESPN tonight. To the ACC next with Duke and Virginia, the Pac-10 later with Washington and Cal. Right now we're in the Big 8, where the #1 team in the nation is getting a handful from the Cats of Kansas State, but K-State needs a basket this time down the floor. We could see a double-figure lead for the first time tonight if they don't.
Kansas State continues to look inside. They're going to throw it away. They do.
McIntyre up the floor. And this could put the Tigers up by 10 or 11. K-State just coughed it up for the 9th time. Missouri has 11. And Ski Jones hustling defensively. He called for his 4th foul.
Excuse me, Bobby. I was going to say it's very tough to guard Anthony Peeler because not only does he do well in the open court, but he can also post you up. He's got great leaping ability. He'll take you on that block, and if you're 6'3" or 6'4", he'll just turn and stick it on you.
Doug Smith. Tony Massip the rebound, but credit Ski Jones blocking out Anthony Peeler. Are you surprised to see Jones still in there with 4 fouls? Here's Massip.
Oh, what a block by Doug Smith.
Here's Peeler getting it. Down the court is McIntyre, trailing his Button. Peeler does it himself. Howard knocks it out of bounds, and it'll belong to the Cats. Now I think they'll get Ski Jones out of there. He will leave. Gene Delaware is back in. Jones sitting down with 4 points, 4 fouls.
Bob, remember this. That's 2 opportunities Missouri had to build it up to a 10-point lead, and they did not convert either time. Kansas State must score this time.
Jeff Wires against McIntyre, blows by him, and the rebound strongly by Nathan Button.
They cannot do anything after Missouri fails to score. Kansas State cannot get a basket.
Howard, little alley-oop to Smith, backing in. Massip gets it after the miss. Look at Delaware go. 16 for him.
And that was a big basket. Was a long drought for Kansas State. Got him within 6. Good steal inside. Tony Massip.
Here comes Henson. Delaware down the court. 2-on-3. Taken away by McIntyre. Now it's a 4-on-2. And Lance Simmons reached in to almost steal it. Doug Smith forces it in.
Tough shot. A lot of action. Kruger off the bench calling play number 2. They're still trying to look down inside. Delaware right there. He got stripped.
There's Henson penetrating. Draws the foul, but it won't fall. Looks like he went right at Nathan Button.
You know, Henson's passed up a couple of shots. That time I thought he passed up a good one from about 12 feet. Decided to take it down the lane. Button waiting on him. Look at him lean in with that body right there. Oh, that's a smart play, Bob. You take it in, you know you're going to get fouled. Try to get the 3-point play.
Henson will get a chance to score from the free throw line.
Steve Henson at the Kansas State free throw line, shooting 2 shots.
Travis Ford back in for the Tigers. He's in a couple of threes tonight. Henson, an outstanding free throw shooter. 86% to lead the Cats. 4 dozen in a row one time. His 3rd point of the night. Henson has averaged 12 points in his career against the Tigers. This is the 9th time he's faced them. He has 4. 45-39, still a long way to go. Better than 10 minutes in Manhattan.
Get ready to begin.
10 minutes and 30 seconds remaining with Larry Conley, Bob Carpenter at the Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan. K-State down by 6.
One of the big stories, Bob, has been the turnovers right now for both clubs. Watch the ball go to the inside. Tony Massip with a good steal in the corner. They got it back heading the other way. Now watch Steve Henson get stripped from the backside by John McIntyre, and he takes it back going the other way.
But Kansas State still within 6. As Missouri has McIntyre to Doug Smith. Travis Ford outside. Gets it back from Lee Coward. Kicks it inside. John Rediger with the steal. That's at least 3 by him tonight. We don't hear much about John at the offensive end. But He has done the job defensively, went in there.
You know, I've noticed a couple of times tonight, Missouri really has difficulty catching the ball on the inside. Kansas State has really made some good defensive plays, getting around and stealing the ball or slapping it away.
Coward takes it away from Delaware. Henson scrambling. Coward has it, gets away from Wires. Delaware steals. And he turned it over. Lon Kruger's team a little shabby on the break. Bad news is that and Anthony Peeler back in for Missouri. Lee Coward sits down.
Just a succession of turnovers. We have had an awful lot of them in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Almost a steal by Jeff Wires.
Well, Wires is all over McIntyre. Good D.
He really has good quickness defensively.
And there's another
Reggie Britt.
There's another one of those situations where Missouri's trying to get the ball to the inside, and Kansas State, very aggressive on defense, moving out in front of the guy trying to receive it.
The shooting had started bad and has stayed bad. Reggie Britt playing on the back of Doug Smith with his first foul.
Foul is on Reggie Britt, his first personal foul.
You know, you feel like in a basketball game, you're a player on the floor, that there's a point where you turn all this around. You know you've been shooting up badly all night long. I mean, everybody on the court knows everybody in there, everybody watching on TV. If you're Kansas State, you just feel like you're going to get this thing turned around. So far, they've not been able to do it.
Well, that's the way Oklahoma felt that night here, and they never did. They never did shoot well. It can go for 40 minutes consecutively. Doug Smith has 8 points now.
Got a great touch. Nice soft touch for a big guy.
Tigers by 8 again. This is another one of those situations where K-State needs a score or else fall down by maybe 10. Delaware from Wires, double pump, yes!
That may be the one that turns them. Gets them headed in the right direction. Norm Stewart leaning back. Let's watch it. Let's watch the play. Let's watch the foul. Delaware, good turn. Ford with a foul. What's the reaction? A little subdued.
Well, he knows he has more work to do. Like this free throw, which would give him 19 and get it back to a 5-point game. Delaware has that look now, Larry. Give me the ball.
Yeah, they need that right now from him. And you know what? Occasionally that spreads among the other players. They'll begin to feel pretty good about themselves.
Peeler can't quiet the crowd. Delaware with the board. Henson down deep, underneath Britt, and he missed the reverse. He was just too strong with it.
Great pass by Ford.
Great look to Smith. McIntyre got the loose ball back.
Rediger doing a good job on Smith. He wants it down underneath.
He's double and triple teamed. Air ball out of bounds. K-State has it. Nathan Button pretty hard to catch that shot that hit nothing. He was planning on a rebound, not a pass.
Well, you're counting on a carom off the steal, and you get nothing but something in your nose. A straight piece of leather.
Jeff Wires from Henson. Delaware open left side. A lot of time for this one. That's a three.
Now the crowd's in it.
Tigers lead Delaware by 2. He's a one-man team right now, and a foul at the other end. Reggie Britt, his second.
Reggie Britt, his second personal foul.
You know, Kansas State, well, both clubs really in the bonus. We got 7:51 left to play. We could get down to a free throw here. Whoever makes them could win it.
And both teams have shot free throws very well the last couple of weeks. Jeff Wires leads. Ski Jones with those 4 fouls back in. Jones with 4 points on the night. Tony Massam and Lance Simmons together. They do everything together tonight. Reggie Britt and John Rediger leave for Kansas State.
Maybe a new substitution pattern for Lon Kruger.
Oh, he missed one. Well, the crowd might have talked him out of that one. And now the Cats could tie or take the lead. A few moments ago, they trailed by 8.
This one could bring the house down if he gets this one. Kruger looking for a big basket.
Peeler is the man covering Delaware. Ski Jones. Ice cold lately. Here's Delaware. Doug Smith rejects him. Tony Massett gets it back. Delaware for Henson.
Reset the shot clock. It was an attempt. Delaware gets the feeling these 10 players realize the importance of this basket. Missouri playing tough defense. Kansas State trying to get open for that good shot.
Shot clock down to 20.
I don't want to overemphasize the importance of one basket, but this one could be very big. Henson! They're going bonkers.
Peeler, Bunton. He missed the easy one, but Smith with the follow.
Boy, that was a great tip in by Doug Smith. That's what you got. You got a couple of bookends that work that backboard. Button puts it up. He misses. Smith there to tip it in.
And that was a crucial basket for Missouri. Here's Ski Jones and McIntyre with a reach-in foul. That will be his third. Travis Ford set the check back in for Norm Stewart.
Number 5, Travis Ford.
McIntyre will take a seat with 4 points, 3 fouls. Ford has 6 points on a couple of threes. Ski Jones with the miss and Massett with the rebound.
Wrong board.
Ski Jones has got to get his shooting straightened out down the stretch. Here's Delaware. Taken away by Peeler. Then he double-dribbled the ball. Actually, they'll call traveling.
You know what? I saw it happen, and Henson saw it too. I didn't know if anybody else heard it.
5:52 remaining, Tigers by 2. It's Bedlam in Manhattan.
Swing into college baseball with the inaugural Hall of Fame tournament. Complete 3-day coverage starts when national champion Wichita State faces LSU. Live starting Friday afternoon only on ESPN. The world's hottest track stars make an assault on world records at one of the fastest indoor tracks. See the Vitalis Meadowlands Invitational. Friday night at 9 Eastern, live on ESPN.
College baseball track, and tonight a dandy college basketball game for you on ESPN here in the Big 8.
Bob, quality players always rise to the occasion. Watch Steve Henson right down the middle here. This was the basket that tied the game up. First tie in the second half for Kansas State. But look at the other end. If you think Henson's good, watch Doug Smith on the follow-up by the miss by Nathan Bunton. Smith right there with the left-handed tip.
Tigers by 2, even though neither team is shooting well. They're okay from long range, and Delaware, the story for K-State. Here's Henson for 3. They lead!
Steve Henson, where have you been?
He has 9 second-half points. Howard blocked by Delaware. Here comes Ski Jones. And a foul by Peeler.
No, it's not intentional. There's a man sitting back, relaxing. He's turning inside.
Number 3 on Peeler.
Bob, you know what you're doing this